Hello there. For those of you just joining us, this is the Highsnobiety Day stage at Melt Festival. I'm the music editor of Highsnobiety, Jake Boyer. It is my privilege to be sitting here today with the Grammy-nominated band Little Dragon.
Hello.
Hello.
So, hello, how are you guys today?
Good. It's very hot.
It's a bit warm this weekend. Yeah.
We like it.
Yeah. You were just telling me it's your third time at Melt Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
We think so, yeah.
Third time.
Third
yes.
time.
Yeah.
Third time's the charm, they say.
I remember it being this hot, actually. But
When was the first time you were here? Which album was that?
Maybe Rich Union album. Yeah. Think
Oh.
so.
So I was just, in my research, I didn't realize you all have known each other since high school music. What kind of music were you making at this time? When would this have been? This would have been 90s?
Yeah. I mean, in high school, I don't know. Before we even met Håkan, of course, we were just, as you do, or as we did, we were copying like jazz or soul music or all over the place.
Yeah, then I came about and said, stop copying.
Håkan came with the synthesizers and opened that whole universe for us,
Uh-huh.
which was a beautiful thing.
Have you gone back? Like, are you listening to the music you were making at that time? Does it sound anything remotely like the sort of stuff you're making today?
I mean, our first album was pretty much just us, in the beginning, early days, messing around in the studio. So,
Yeah, I've
that's-
read that you described your first album as naked compared to your other the preceding ones.
yeah, because they were pretty much demo tracks that came out as they were, I'd say.
Yeah.
So in that way, naked, raw, whatever you want to call it.
We have the diaper on.
We had the diaper on.
All right, I guess so. Fast forward a little bit. You're now a year removed from last year's Season High, which is a great album.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now that you've had a little more time to reflect on it, it came out last April. What do you think sort of characterized that album when you're looking on it now versus your previous ones? What sort of made that one unique in your mind?
I don't know, it's the fifth album, it's number 5, it's kind of... I don't know,
Fifth time's the other charm, as they say.
one hand, if you count it. No, I don't know, it's... maybe you should.
I feel like every record we make is like a closing the past, and let's go ahead with something new. We're always on the move, so it's hard even to think about the last record. I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Well, I heard it occasionally a few times ago, but I think now what it represents, I don't really know. I think we were aiming for we started off wanting to be super. We wanted to produce it exactly the way we wanted, and we ended up releasing our demos. That was the first record, and then the journey was to kind of get it better and better and better, and then realizing that actually the demo that's the shit that you want to have. There's so much flavor in the demos. There's so much, so much stuff going on. So we were, I don't know if a listener can tell, but emotionally for us, we were striving for a more demo-ish thing that was more generous with flaws and, not trying to overthink.
Make things perfect. Not really
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah.
Are you usually like the sort of like, will you be tinkering in the studio forever if someone didn't stop you, or you sort of reach a point where like, no, we think this is done?
I mean, especially since we're four very stubborn people that always want to be in the mix, it kind of gets a bit complicated. We get to a phase where we want to kill each other, and then
I think the other guys just have to stop me from polishing it too much. So it's 3 against 1. So it's
So
pretty easy.
all 4 of you are stubborn. Yeah, I can imagine that must make for some interesting studio sessions.
yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. I was reading the name for Little Dragon was, I read it as referring to your behavior in the studio, Yukimi.
It's a sad story.
A sad
Yes.
story?
It's an old story. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's how the story goes. No, but these days I feel pretty zen most of the time. But I mean, I guess through the years we've definitely had our moments, our fights, and you know, I've had my temper tantrums.
Do you think we were close to this band being called Goth Panda as an alternative for?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
So I want to talk a bit about the music video for the single "Sweet," which I think is personally is one of the best tracks in your catalog. I'm obsessed with that song.
Whoa.
The music video is really surreal. I mean, even compared to some of your other visuals, I think there's a lot of subliminal imagery. Like, I'm pretty sure my mind's not mistaken, or my eye's not mistaken. Like, there's flashes of the painting "The Hunters in the Snow" by Peter Bruegel. Like, there's just a lot of trippy shit flashed at you without, I guess, tell me a little bit about conceptualizing that video and where your headspace was.
Well, it's directed by Ossian Melin. He's a Swedish artist and a visual artist, video maker. And he's, yeah, we just really admire him. He's a very free-spirited guy and very, you know, inspiring because he definitely is in touch with the raw, you know, almost beautiful / ugly side of things. And we just really loved his work. You know, we saw quite a few videos that he'd done, and he's from our city, and a wonderful guy to work with. And he's actually working on his theater right now, in Gothenburg, a trilogy. So yeah, it was just kind of a perfect match to work with him.
And your studio is in Gothenburg, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've read it's in a dilapidated house.
It's a what?
Is it what?
I read it's in a dilapidated house, like an old house. Like dilapidated.
Dilapidated.
Like run-down house, but you've converted into this studio.
Okay.
It is old.
It's old, yeah.
Yeah.
It's there's rumors that they're gonna tear it apart, but we're in it.
There have been rumors about, you know, tearing down the house since we moved in, so it's still standing. So
Is it a really isolated place?
It's actually in the middle of town.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm picturing you like in the woods in Sweden somewhere. That's
Yeah.
where
Now
you
that
have
would
to go
be
create.
nice. Sometimes we dream about being near the woods, but actually we're right in the central station. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys? Do you find is it difficult to translate your stuff into a live performance? I feel like it's tricky when you have like with electronic music to make it have the same sort of pop that it does on vinyl, so to speak, on wax.
Yes, it can be tricky sometimes. We can try to make it as close to what we recorded, but at the end of the day, it's songs we're playing, so we can take away a lot of stuff as well and just play them with, I don't know what I'm talking about, but we can be flexible with sounds as well.
Yeah.
Is it easy for you or more difficult, do you think, when you look back further in your catalog to try and rehash older things you've done? Is it hard to sort of go back and look at your older work, or is there not so much of a difference?
I mean, I think we have at this point songs we even forgot we made. You know, you kind of. But then I think in the early after the first album, we had a lot of slow songs on the first album, and we were not at all identifying ourselves with kind of a slow live band, ballady type of band. So we played a lot of our songs our new songs that we were working on at the time from Machine Dreams live, and I guess we think about that more when we release music, you know, like how it's going to translate live and if it's going to make people dance and, you know, how we're going to feel playing it. So I think kind of the live aspect has sort of affected the recording in that way. You know, we definitely love making people dance and dancing ourselves. And so.
Yeah, and the songs evolve as well. Yeah, they're getting better, I think, live.
So when you look at an older song and evolve it, you see it evolving as you revisit it.
Yeah, they kind of change over time, and we play everything live, so it just kind of there's a lot of space for changes and improvisation.
I want to touch on a couple collaborations you guys have worked on, but first I do want to make note. I read an interview with Days, I believe you did, Yukimi, that a lot of people ask you about your collaborations, which I think you said they're fun, but makes you as a band more focused. And it did make me realize, like, you all have been featured with so many other acts, but on your own records, it's very tightly much you guys. Do you feel like there's a conscious effort to sort of keep it in the family, so to speak?
Well, yeah, in a way, I guess, because we are collaborating with each other, and that I think people forget about that, since we're a band in that way where everybody writes and everyone produces. There's not one mastermind, so we're constantly just trying to figure that out still, and then to bring someone more in the picture, sometimes just feels complicated. So we're still trying to figure out how to collaborate with each other, I guess.
Have you figured it out?
No. No, but I mean, we're working on it, and it gets better and more fun. So, but I guess firsthand, you don't think about who else to bring in the mix,
Right, of course. Yeah, on that note, though, I did just want to touch on, I had to, given the chance to talk to you, I really wanted to talk to you about Empire Ants, your collaboration with Gorillaz. That was my personal introduction to you all, and I think that's probably one of the best Gorillaz songs, yet I don't think of it as a Gorillaz song. To me, that is a Little Dragon song. So I guess maybe tell me a bit about that collaboration. That was relatively early in your career as well, yeah?
Yeah, well, we visited Damon Albarn's studio in London, and he played us a bunch of different tracks that he was working on at the time. And I guess that track in particular really resonated with everyone. We really liked it. It had, sounds and synthy sounds that, we felt like we could relate to. And it was easy to write to. So we spent a day in the studio and wrote that song pretty much.
And I think among the most surprising collaborations was you're on the song on Big Boy's first album. Yes, or but
yes. Oh, I don't know if it was his first,
right?
But yeah.
Or, yeah, but to me that was an odd pairing in my mind, because I know you all were listening to kind of like De La Soul, that kind of stuff when you first got started, but I would never think of you all as sort of a hip hop oriented band.
Well, I think we're very influenced by hip hop. I mean, Eric in particular has been the hip hop head in the group, and we're inspired by all kinds of different music. Yeah, all genres, hip hop included.
Who are your go-to MCs?
MCs, I don't know, but the beat makers. I'm okay. I'm a drummer. I can't think or talk, so I'm just listening to the beats.
Right.
So
you only smack things.
Yeah, exactly. But I have JD or J Dilla but there's so many. I think I feel like I'm like an old man when I'm talking about hip hop music, because I don't know what's going on now. I'm just stuck in the past, and then I feel like when we make music or when I make music, a lot of that is in my background. Sort of, it's easy for it to come out and be a part of the feeling, sort of the music that I make.
You do listen to a lot of Drake, though.
Yeah, I like Drake. Drake is good. Is that hip hop? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely hip hop.
It is, yeah. Is it as much of hip hop as Wu-Tang Clan, for example?
Well, that's hard to judge
the hip hop
who's more hip hop versus another.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I guess they're both rapping. So
yep, that's a main ingredient for hip hop music.
So they say.
Yeah.
I think one time when you were doing an interview around Season High last year, you all said that you all are suckers for escapism, and you sort of make music to escape. And I wanted to ask you, music aside, what do you do to escape? What represents escapism to you?
But I mean, I think also since for the beginning, sorry for talking so much, but I think all of us kind of found each other in that atmosphere where you feel like, wow, this is trippy. It didn't matter if it was free jazz or Kraftwerk or Vangelis or hip hop music, but that feeling when you actually forgot about the things you had to do. You were just in the music, and I think that's what we mean with escapism. You just be inside the music and forget about everything else. And then now it feels like we're older. We have kids. We have life contains so much stress. So all you want to do is just float back into that beautiful cotton candy world. No, but you know, that far out, just like let an hour pass without doing anything, just listening to a beautiful beat or a melody or a voice.
Yeah.
That's escapism, I think. I don't know what we're. Yeah.
I think that answers that
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
Dancing, I think,
Dancing.
is definitely for me with my friends with
Have
a
friends?
good mix. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
No, but I'm. This might sound weird, but watching the news feels like escapism for me, actually.
And cutting rocks.
What?
And cutting rocks.
Yeah, it cuts me off my.
I think when somebody says watching the news makes him feel emotionally escaped, means
Yeah.
that he's living inside this body here is pretty far out and psychedelic all the time. So if you know,
Maybe from family life you can escape
yeah.
watching the news. I don't know.
Sorry.
It's
Yeah. All right, and finally, I want to ask you all: if you could translate your personality into an emoji, which would it be and why?
sorry.
If you could translate your personality into an emoji, which would it be and why?
The little pile of chocolate.
Oh, chocolate! Is that what it is? I've been getting it
Yeah, it's
wrong all this
chocolate mousse.
time. Oh, okay.
It's chocolate mousse.
It's chocolate mousse with a smiley face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric, you're pretty good at making emoji faces, actually. I remember you.
Yeah, like the maybe the I don't know. Is it? Am I doing it right?
Yeah. Or the one where the tongue is and the eyes are like that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Emojis are so simple,
it's
man.
a complicated
Could
question.
Never ever describe me as a person.
I know. One person can't be summed up in a single
No,
emoji.
no,
It's
no,
hard.
no,
It's
no,
hard.
no, but I like your question, but difficult to answer.
Yukimi, you?
Oh, yeah.
I think you're that. Sorry, you're that Spanish señorita dancing.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Little Dragon, thank you so much for joining us. Looking forward to your set later tonight.
Thank
Thank you.
All right. Tune in to Highsnobiety. We're going to be broadcasting a little live later with Mura Masa. We'll see you then.
Goodbye.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.